Welcome. We are Chanticleer Reviews, and we are recording this presentation from our home office in Bellingham, Washington, in the Great Pacific Northwest. So if you hear any traffic or horns or noises, that's just the traffic outside of our windows here. Thank you for joining us today.
Chanticleer Reviews is a global company, even though we are tucked into a little bedroom community of Seattle, just north of Seattle. We have a global...
And north of Vancouver, south of Vancouver.
South of Vancouver, that's right.
British Columbia.
We have reach all over the world, and we like it that way.
And here's a little information about me, Kiffer Brown, head hen. Here at Chanticleer, co-founded this with Andy Argus Brown, who is quite the tech guy, and he does all of the under the hood technology that makes our reviews different, and also many of our services. So, and
here I am. I'm Sharon Anderson. I'm the editor-in-chief of Reviews. I absolutely love what I do, and it's a pleasure working here. Hey, we didn't include Andy's slide.
Well.
Oh, well.
He's just the one that was showing us how to do this.
That's right.
All right. So he was here earlier in the office today helping us set up all the equipment. So right now we have, 4 monitors up and 3 computers, and it's quite the thing. But all this underhood technology goes into our 2-part mission, which is...
Our book reviews discover today's best books through our editorial processes and our international book awards.
And we love helping authors achieve their publishing goals.
Yep.
So a little bit more about what we do here. So we were been told not to read the PowerPoint, so we're not. You can see all of our works, but we do have our reviews do get results, and our SIBAs help discover today's best works, and we love doing it.
Okay.
And today's topic is B is for books, and we're going to take that a little bit further. The 6 B's of successful indie publishing with us. It is an effective multi-pronged approach to book promotion that does work. So here we go, and we say hi. There we are. Hi.
There we are.
These are the 6 components, and we're going to go over each one of them as quickly as we can, but with some important tidbits and tools and tips of information.
They're things every author really should know about.
So, and a lot of times it's just a handy reminder, and it's good to, I know I need to have my my brain jogged once in a while here.
Okay. So how do you integrate all of these 6 items into your author life? Well, they all come into play at different times. And you'll find out that as you circle back around and keep improving and repeating the actions of these components, you will further your author platform and your publishing career. Promise. Okay.
All right. This is my thing here. I am all about the book cover. It is probably the #1 tool in successful publishing, and so I see it so many times all these years where authors, they write the book, they edit the book, and then they put together the cover in a few seconds, and they're just ready to publish it, where the cover concepts of it should start in pretty early in the game, because, well, as we all said, the awesome cover will attract readers to your first book. Compelling content inside will sell your next book. And that is the truth. I have done many shows, book fairs, the IBAs, GLIBAs, they're all the independent book selling shows that are across the nation, London Book Fair, BEA, and it is, nothing could be more true that it is the cover that matters. And your book cover will have about 3 seconds to communicate the following information. And it should even do this in the concept stage, and then you just keep refining it and refining it and refining it. So how well does your cover convey this information? We have, the genre, is it fiction or nonfiction? Primary targeted age group, is it for kids, older, mostly guys, is it just whatever, the mood, the time frame, place, or cultural reference.
You have to capture your reader's attention, right?
Right. So here's a little test for everyone. Are these covers effective in doing those 5 things? Can you tell from any of these the genre? Can you tell whether it's even fiction or nonfiction in 3 seconds? Can you tell the age group, the mood, the place, cultural reference, the time frame? How about these?
These are the same books, and I think that they all represent exactly what they are, and this is what is really needed. These are all award-winning books, highly decorated, and one of them, is it one of them a movie? No? Sold the rights to the movie?
No, Virtues of War was picked up in a 3-book deal by Titan UK for 6 figures.
Okay.
He was our grand prize Cygnus winner. And James R. Wells is the great grandson of H.G. Wells. But anyway, these are all award-winning books. But yeah, I think these do tell the genre.
Yeah.
The primary target age group, the mood.
Certainly the time frame.
And the place and cultural references. So I would say make use of your book cover's real estate as effectively as possible. It is the commercial for your book on all platforms. And remember, all of these have to communicate all this information in less than 3 seconds.
So you have to also think about where your book is going to be on the shelf. Is it always going to be facing out, or is it going to be like a bookstore where you just see the spine? You cannot neglect the spine of your book.
No. And here's another example of some book that does an excellent job of using all of the real estate. He's got that he's an award-winning author. He says it's a YA book right here. It tells you the location. There's Seattle. All is silence. I hope you all die, she said, and they did. And here you can read the sign, all survivors report to the convention center and which exit to take. So that's quite intriguing. It makes me want to pick up this book.
Yeah.
So as Sharon was saying, spines matter. And as you see, here's another beautiful example of a spine. That's gorgeous because most of us, our books will be, the only thing people will ever see is the spine. So do not forget about the spine of it. And remember, we talked about in the beginning about you need to have your cover concept ready to go probably right when you have a good idea what your story is going to be about. You don't have to refine it, but you need to have that so you can start designing and branding. And then we'll circle back around to this, but your cover will also help attract beta readers, which we will discuss.
Beta readers beyond your F&F? What are you talking about?
Friends and family.
Okay. Package deal.
All right, here we go. Component number 2, beta readers. And how I am not sure if y'all have heard of those, but who are they? What do they do? Why do you need them?
Yeah.
And the care and feeding of them, and they do require care and feeding.
Yes, they do.
Beta.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say beta readers are essential, especially if you are self-publishing. Mm-hmm. They become your street team, and they become the evangelist of your books. One of my favorite authors, Anne Charles, her goal is before any book is released to be published, before the launch date, that she has about 1,000 beta readers.
She's awesome.
She is awesome, and and the Martian author Andrew Ware had beta readers who also helped launch his career, as he would ask them technical questions, because of course if you've seen The Martian,
yeah, it's great,
lots of information, lots of science, so all those people were there helping him were beta readers.
It's a good success story.
Yes. So when do you need your beta readers?
Well, I think that you need your beta readers before you actually dive into your heavy-duty editing, but after you've had your manuscript overview, because you have to make sure, first of all, that you have a solid story that you're giving people. Manuscript overviews, we'll get to that a little bit later, but you need to also ask for specific feedback. I would never ask a beta reader to specifically tell me if all the comments were in the right place. No.
They are not editors.
No. I would ask them, though, how they liked my characters, or if there was one particular event that occurred in the book that didn't make sense. I would, plot hole is what we call them.
Yeah. Smoking guns.
Right, that didn't get fired off.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of things that these book evangelists will be really good at doing if you let them.
And another name for them are AERs, or Acquired Early Readers. Mm-hmm. And you start out with a small group, and then as you get the work more completed and more, then you add to it, and you just keep adding to it. And these are wonderful because we all know the more eyeballs, the better. And of course, the best place is if you can start out with your writing friends and family, and people that don't. And my advice is basically find people who are not writers.
Right.
Because you want readers. You want to know. You don't want someone reading it as an author would read it, because we read books differently. But the person that's going to download it from or buy it in the bookstore, that's the person you want to read it.
Right. Right. This just talks about how many more subject matters that your beta readers can help you out with. If there's a particular sensitive subject, and that you've hit on, but you've hit on it the wrong way, or you've approached a real delicate topic without the care you need to. These beta readers will surely let you know. They're not above giving you faulty advice, not at this stage anyway.
And they love being part of making the magic of a book happen. But it is hard, I would say, to get them. You have to find them one at a time. And you can start doling out your manuscript to them in chapters, and just say, here's a chapter, what do you think? And then as you get your book more shaped, then you can keep finding some more. So Sharon, where do you find beta readers?
I find beta readers Well, I not under the couch for sure. I find beta readers for my work usually through my critique group to start with, but then I have to branch off because, as Kiffer was saying, you don't want other authors as part of your beta reader group. They just tear it apart a little too much. That's not what you want at this point. What you want, are people like your aunt or your librarian. Seriously,
yeah.
librarians can hook you in to the best beta readers. Go to your local bookseller and ask them who likes the genre you're targeting, and if they have good customers, then leave a message and ask to have your information passed along for potential beta readership. The other thing is, I think we're going to talk about how to keep them and how to make them happy in a little bit. But right, so you want to start small. It's always going to be starting small, and then you build. Yeah, you have to take care of them. Here's the next slide.
Oh, and the why? Well, there's the care and feeding. But this is why you need to do the care and feeding of them. Because imagine if you cultivated 100 beta readers or 150 beta readers, then the day you launch and that book goes up on Amazon,
right,
all of the authors that I know report back that the beta readers are so excited that a book that they have been a part of, that they leave consumer reviews there, and they hit that, and they hit that 100, that magic 100 needed for Amazon to get up and out of obscurity. Yeah.
It's best-selling book right there on launch day. So you need to make sure that you are treating them well and informing them of what your progress is
and rewarding them.
Yeah.
And so here we've talked about some things about once again, Ann Charles, she said she tries to know the name of each and every one of her beta readers.
Wow.
And she also
1,000 of them.
Yeah, and she was, she didn't acquire them all at one time, because she has 20 books out now. She's been doing this for about 10, 15 years, long time. But very successful author. So she's had time to get to know them, but she also interacts with them on social media. She's there constantly. She's always going out in person to meet them at book conventions or local book fairs. A lot of her books are based in Deadwood, South Dakota. And so she goes there probably twice a year. And it's quite well known for her stories there, which are crazy. But once again, you and then ask your beta readers for specific feedback, and no matter if it's positive, negative, or just be insanely appreciative of it, as Steve Jobs would say.
He did say that.
Yes.
And how that translates to your AERS is that you should have insanely great experience for your people who take the time to read your new book or your new manuscript. You have to let them know that you cherish them, right? Be over the top.
Yes, and from what I understand, these successful authors that do this, they are always giving out things or naming characters after their beta readers. They are so here. Well, in fact, here's a quote from Ann Charles. She says, "Can
I get it?
Let's see. I just saw it there." Let's see. All of your comments and your emails make my day time and time again. Once again, this is Ann Charles quoting her. "I really appreciate all that you do to keep me in the book writing business. Your help as a Prickly Pear Posse member is an important part of the book release process. Time and again, authors have asked me, how am I able to acquire so many reviews and get the word out far and wide about my books? I tell them that I couldn't do it without my Kick Heine.
That's not what she said.
No, posse.
Yeah.
You're the best.
Yeah.
And now for the fun stuff. And that's when she starts giving away all of her her little gifts.
Great
and
freebies.
They love them. So once again, if you've been working on your cover, you have some idea of how to brand all of your marketing promo. So there we go.
Okay.
All right.
Book reviews. Well, they are the cornerstone of your book and author promotion. And, you know, they're super important, but there's not just one kind of book review. There are actually 4. And we talked a little bit about manuscript overviews, and we'll go into a little more detail in a minute, but these are just the 4 that you need to be aware of. Perhaps you've given a peer review to one of your author friends. Perhaps you've given a quote to fit on a front cover. These are all great things. And of course, consumer reviews are going to come from your beta readers. They're going to come from people that
new readers.
They're going to come from, you know, family, friends. They're going to come, who knows, you know, they'll come from all of those great sources that are just out there waiting to discover your book. Okay.
So my pet peeve, and not even a peeve, I should say, is that one thing that indie authors, self-published authors don't have, that so many authors who are represented by an agent or by a publishing company are manuscript overviews. It is the secret editing tool that you, as an indie author, as a self-published author, should, I can't recommend it enough, implement in your career. And what it does is someone, if you had an agent, it's one of these things where it's chicken or the egg, Sharon. You know that.
Right.
So if you had an agent, or if you had a publishing house, then as soon as you wrote your manuscript and you've got a good solid story, but before you get it line edited, but you know you've got a pretty good story there, you would hand it over to your agent or your acquisitions editor at the publishing house. And they would read it and give you feedback, probably on the phone, like, what were you thinking here? Or, you know, you've got 3 stories here. This is a series. Or the dialogues doesn't work for me. Just that honest stuff that only someone who is almost a partner with you would do. And they do brutal feedback. And it's very broad strokes, very 30,000 feet high. But we do, we offer these manuscript overviews. There's just where someone sits down and they read your book in basically one sitting, and they come up with, sometimes it's like, great, all right, don't mess with it. Let's just get it edited and get it going. Most of the time, it has problems with either POV or, like we said before, too many story arcs going on, or the first 40 pages were written for the author and not for the reader.
Where do you start your story?
Yeah.
It's also a really good tool. I mean, a good manuscript overview is going to touch on all points of craft. It's going to tell you what you've done really well, and it's also going to tell you where you need improvement. I like to say it's just a little roadmap for your manuscript. This is what needs to happen next.
And it will definitely propel your author career. And if you were with, once again, a publishing house or a literary agent, once you get that feedback that you'd work on it, then you would flip it back to the editors, and then you would start working on your second manuscript while it's getting line edited, and then you just have this whole leapfrog going on. And that's how so many of these authors, you wonder, is like, how can they churn out a book a year or 2 books a year?
This is how that's done.
That's how it's done. And it is a well-kept secret, We offer manuscript overview services here at Chanticleer, but if you don't get it from us, make sure you get one from someone, some editor that you trust and that is vetted. It's just amazing. Each and every author we've had take advantage of our service said, "Oh my goodness, I will never write another book again without doing a manuscript overview."
It's very beneficial.
We've read it compared to like doing a graduate course.
Yeah.
In writing. All right. I'll move on because that's my pet. That's my pet.
All right. So the editorial review, first of all, when a manuscript or a book comes in, we assign it to the best reviewer possible, people who actually love and read the genres that they're reviewing in. And these people are not Aunt Edna, although we love her. These people are sometimes editors, librarians, professors of literature,
best-selling authors.
Best-selling authors.
And we have book reviewers from some top newspapers.
Yeah.
And journals.
Yeah. And I guess the thing that makes our editorial reviews very special is that we point out, we talk about what the book is actually about. We don't go on with opinions. Oh, I don't like this character. This is something I would never ever read. Well, no, we don't do that. We are fair. We are very professional. And Kiffer likes to say there's no bark and no snark here.
No.
Yeah. Each review comes with an embedded SEO package, metadata and tags.
And that's Andy's under the hood technology that comes, which is so important for this digital age.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Highly digital.
So if Sharon, if I'm hearing you correctly, then is that the editorial reviews, if it's not positive, you'll give feedback to the author and not just say we don't like it, but what the problems are.
Right. I mean, a lot of times authors will just get into the wrong service because they don't know about the manuscript overview, or they don't know that they should have had someone proofread their book. And if there are some serious issues with any book or manuscript, I will inform the author. And it's not as if we would like to embarrass anyone. I really, really believe in authors, and I really want the best for them. So if there's a way the author, if they're open to taking another look at their book, that's awesome. If, and we have some authors that say, no, it's fine the way it is, and that's what it is. But I mean, it's almost like if you're driving down the road and Aunt Edna needs to stop and get out of the car, you would stop the car and let her get out and walk for a while. I mean, you have to be respectful of people, and that's kind of how we are. Yeah.
Yep. And so my other stop here for a second, countdown again. The other thing for self-published authors, indie authors, and I have to say it's kind of known in the industry that a majority, not all, but most, push that publish button too soon.
A little sooner than they should.
But once you are ready and you're ready to do your book launch, you need to get an editorial review. And there are many awesome houses out there that will do them. But your editorial reviews are needed for your book launch. And so you can't wait to the end. And you also want to have that very important cover blurb on there. The more the better on the back.
Right.
When you upload and you get your ISBN number and you start assigning that, it's going to ask for information. Selling platforms, you need to have them ready to go even before your book is available for sale.
Right.
As in the editorial review section, such as Amazon. If your book is going to be distributed, then they want descriptions. The editorial reviews are needed for so many different items to check off for your book launch. Once again, for press releases, for if you're going to set up author signings, they want someone else besides the author talking about the book.
Or Aunt Edna. Yeah.
Or Aunt Edna. So you need all of this. And then you need it for your point of sale marketing, shelf talkers, all of that. And then of course social media. We can't forget about social media.
So out of the 4 different types of reviews, we might think that the editorial review is perhaps one of the most, certainly one of the most important ones. You don't need as many of them as you do like consumer reviews.
True.
But they're super important. I guess they all are important, but
yes.
We can't.
Well, once again, they all, that's why we call it a multi-prong approach.
A multi-prong approach. There it is.
But then also why another reason why editorial reviews are so important and why traditional, the big publishers are all about getting editorial reviews for their books for launch, pre-publication, is that these book reviews, the editorial reviews, set the tone of the consumer reviews.
Yeah.
And it gives readers, because they're not all writers, the language to talk about the book. And it makes it easier for them to write their reviews when they can look up and read the editorial review and go, oh, that's that word I was looking for, or yes, I agree. And so it really does set the tone, and that's why there's such a important cornerstone to your launch package.
Absolutely.
Let's move on here. Now peer reviews.
The good mannered reviews.
Really, not just for academia. And this is something, of course, you would love to have a best-selling author like Robert Dugoni giving you, or J.D. Barker.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, or Anne Charles. Yeah, or Kathy Ace.
There you go.
To give you a little blurb for your book cover.
We'd like that.
Yes, but what we hear from authors, or C.C. Humphreys, is another one, is that when they get approached or an email out of the blue or a text message out of the blue asking for a peer author blurb review, and they don't know who this person is that's asking them. So I'm always telling people, if you know you want to get an author, a best-selling author, to review your book and give you a blurb. But to do that, you need to start way early in the game. You need to read their books, leave reviews on Amazon, leave reviews on Kobo, wherever the book is for sale. Follow them on social media, share their things, share their comments, share their books. I mean, they have to know, who's this person that just keeps doing all this great stuff. And that way, when you email them, they will look you up and they will go, oh, that's that person. Okay. Let me take a look.
Sure. I mean, you have a better chance of doing all of these things. You can't be fake about it either. These are genuine things that you're doing. It's not schmoozing. It's deliberate, genuine action you are taking on the behalf of the author you admire, whom you desire a quote from. It's Good manners is what we call it.
Yes, good manners. Good manners for sure. And then also you want to do the same for authors that are in your peer?
In your peer group, sure. I mean, honestly, why would anybody give you a review or a quote for your cover if you refuse to give out the same? Word gets around. It is a smaller community than most people think.
Yes.
And people hear about those things really quickly. Again, it's good manners.
It's good manners. Yes, we all need. We need to do that. Ain't Edna would advise to have good manners.
Good manners. Okay.
Ah. Yes.
Is that it?
Yes, and we're talking about consumer reviews, reader reviews, and this is where for ranking and all of that, and you would not think so, but it's where quantity counts over quality, or the number of stars. It's like there's no such thing as bad PR. That's kind of the same.
Right.
The selling platforms tend to go for quantity.
Right. Not necessarily, stars or anything else. And here's where, just a little aside, if somebody writes a review for you for habit and you don't like it, you don't agree with it, and perhaps it's negative and unfair and nasty, for goodness sakes, do not respond to that. Do not. You will feed the monster, and the monster will grow. I promise you that. So, just take it with a grain of salt and move on. Focus on the good reviews, and know that you need all of them. You just need all of them. So
this is true. Yeah, don't feed the trolls.
Yeah.
And of course, like, we have the cat there because it's the computer and the internet, so we have to have cats. Component number 4, book awards.
Book awards. Everyone loves a winner.
This is true. They really, I think every year there's between 1.5 million to 2 million new titles printed in the English language, published, I should say, in the English language now.
Well, Kiffer, what's a person supposed to know what to read?
Well, that is true. Funny you should ask. The book awards, and there are many good ones out there. Of course, we have ours, the Civis, but that they help vet your books. They help distinguish your books from the rest, and it's a good way to find out how you stand and where you stand. And sometimes we've had it in ours where people have learned where they thought their book was one particular genre, and the judges came through and were saying, no, this belongs over here in this genre.
Right.
And so they needed to, and once they redid their target marketing, they sold more books.
That's right.
So and this is excellent. One of our clients who was a winner with the Mystery and Mayhem Awards said that she was here at, and we get this all the time, that once you're there and you're pitching to agents, that if you have been vetted by a more one of the more prestigious book award,
reputable book awards,
yes, then that does impress them because someone's done the work for them, because they have to go through that slush pile, which means your works, if you made it out of the slush pile, a lot of work has already been done for them.
Right.
And that's one thing in this publishing industry, we all know there's never enough time to get everything done.
I hear you.
Yeah. So thank you, Jessica Stone.
We have another one, another quote here. Let's see, I guess that's the next slide. Yep. This one cracked me up. This one, Sharon O'Boyle is another mystery thriller author. And she was just telling us about her experiences with our book awards, as with many others. You're given shiny gold foil stickers to stick on the front cover. Well, it's eye candy is what it is. your readers will see that, and they will just be drawn to it, like, a moth to a flame.
Like we are to earrings.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And diamonds. But
shiny.
yeah. So when you have your shiny book stickers on your books and your beautiful blue ribbons, and you're at a book signing, and you have all of these beautiful awards around you, and none of the other authors have those, or very few. Guess who's going to have more traffic?
This is true. And as we all know, book awards are like shoes. You can't have too many pairs, and too many of them.
That's right. You need them all.
And chocolate.
That's right.
So yeah, why enter your works in competitions?
We've been talking about this, really.
Yes, and I like the bragging rights.
Oh, the bragging rights. You got to have bragging rights. You got to brag about something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really great. I think it gives you something to talk about in your social media.
Right.
And once again, on your website, it gives you some content. And once again, that's all part of that multi-pronged approach to book marketing.
Right.
And in our case, we are all about increasing that digital footprint too for the people whose works have made it up from the slush pile.
Absolutely.
And you can find out more. But like I said, the reputable book awards are great for authors, and plus we all like to celebrate.
We do. We do.
Of course, a little self-promotion there. That is the grand prize digital badge there.
Isn't that lovely? Oh,
imagine that on your website.
On your book cover.
On your social media.
Yeah. It would go a long way. Go a long way. All right. Moving on. We have book buzz. Book buzz. That's right. Get it? Book buzz. All right.
And the book buzz is elusive, and you can't buy it. The number one way that books still increase in sales is word of mouth.
Right. Go figure.
Yes. But how you can increase the word of mouth, once again, is like having a dynamic cover, winning that new award.
Exactly. Having a good review.
Having a good review, participate in those beta readers. Like,
exactly.
I was doing this thing and I thought it was just for a hobby, but it's actually really good.
It's really good. Yeah.
So, yes, but all of these things help create the book buzz.
Yep. How many times do you, oops, you went on before I was ready. This is what I do. If I'm reading a book, when I'm reading a book, I happen to look up from my life for a minute and see somebody else, like maybe I'm in a bookstore and somebody is considering a book, a stranger. And if I've read that book, I will kind of sidle up to that person and say, you know what? I love this book because I won't give away the plot or the storyline or anything, but it moved me. It was an emotional connection or something else. I would encourage authors or readers to buy certain books that I've read, because that's part of book buzz, and it's integrated so much in my life that that's just sort of what I do. At coffee shops, at train stations, at airplanes.
As we travel around, we're always like, "What are you reading?
What are you reading?"
And once again, it's the most elusive. But it's really what sells books. But
it is.
You can help generate book buzz. And here's another way to
book clubs.
So you kind of need the book buzz sometimes. Once again, it's the chicken or the egg for book clubs to be interested in you, but you need book clubs to be interested in your work, to create book buzz. So here we go.
It's like it all feeds into each other. It's the review. It's the award. Book clubs are very interested in awarded books. Something that somebody else again has vetted. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I know our grand prize winner was picked up for Washington Everybody Reads
Oh,
for the
wow.
state of Washington.
That's huge.
Yeah, that was Janet Oakley
Mm-hmm.
and Tree Soldier.
Tree Soldier is
Yeah.
a really good book. That's gone places. Yeah. Everyone should pick that one up.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yep.
And the thing with book clubs, don't get discouraged. If you publish your book and then the next thing you want people to pick it up, it takes a while because a lot of these come up with a reading list a year in advance.
Right, right.
And so everybody's on that, or at least 6 months in advance. But so plan on getting out there and realizing it's going to probably take 2 years.
Right.
And you need to just start connecting. Connecting.
That's why social media is such a good thing. That's a great way to connect. But also, if you are an author that can just write and write and write and know exactly what you're going to do next, which I hope you all are, you can be contacting book clubs, in advance and saying, here, this is what I've had. What do you think?
Well, I know our wonderful local bookstore here, Village Books. They have they offer book clubs a 15% discount.
Wow.
Yes, to come buy books at their store, and they facilitate. They host book clubs. They facilitate individual neighbor, local book clubs.
Wow.
And I would advise, and I know you would too,
Oh, yeah.
is that if, as an author, if you don't belong to a book club, at least one you should, because you need to understand the dynamics of book clubs. In my humble opinion.
In your humble opinion. How many book clubs do you belong to? Is it 5 now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also indie booksellers, along with indie booksellers like Village Books, a lot of the big chain stores like Barnes and Noble.
Yep.
And what is the Canadian one? All of our Canadian friends.
Oh, goodness. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, we will find that out.
I'll have to find that out. There's
it's almost there.
It's almost there. You get a cupcake if you get it right.
But definitely also check out those, and of course we totally support the indie bookstores.
Absolutely. All right. Okay.
So there you go. That is Paul Hansen. He calls himself steward of Village Books, and these are the people, along with others, that you can hold your author events and your book events and make connections.
Some authors are very self-conscious about asking, approaching book clubs or approaching booksellers or approaching their librarians, which we're going to talk about next, because, we all seem to be introverts. But what you have to understand is that these people are looking for material to read. Everybody would love to read a new book. I mean, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, especially. So, don't be afraid. Just put your foot out there and walk out the door and do it. And
you notice, Sharon, as you mentioned before, about don't forget about the spine with your cover design.
Yeah.
That is a great picture that shows exactly why.
Look at all those spines.
Yes.
Holy mackerel.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Book clubs and you.
Yeah.
So.
Libraries.
Yes. And a lot of book clubs, they connect and they post all their meetings and all of that at the local public library.
That's right. I mean, who would have known?
And and they're always looking for ways of attracting, especially in these days and times, patrons. And what this is called in our local library is a book kit. And if your book is vetted and perhaps if it has shiny stickers and has won awards, they will consider letting you create a book kit for the local book clubs to come and check out.
That's perfect. Hey, is that Goethe's library? I think that is.
Oh. Yeah, it is. Oh. That's in Frankfurt.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So
wouldn't you love to go to a book club meeting there?
I would. I would. Yep. Okay. So you were talking about your local libraries, and that's what that's all about.
Yeah. And I know where I live here in Bellingham, we have our local ladies group. It's a book club, and then we've started one called the Salish Sea Book Club.
Oh, I'm part of the Salish Sea.
You are?
Well, yes, I live here. So.
Yeah. So you need to come.
I guess
we're having our next meeting the third Wednesday of September.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And then we are starting another one. So for all those people who live out and would rather, they can't get in, so we're going to do an online one too.
So an online one, that's what I was just going to ask you. If somebody cannot find book club, what should they do? Is there a search or something you could look at?
Yeah, you can. And like I said, let's see, right. Well, that one's about our local library host, Bellingham Reads, and the county has Whatcom Reads, and then the state has Washington Reads.
Okay. But where else?
But let's see here. Where else?
I think. Oh, you were talking about going on Google and searching up meetup.com.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And there are a lot of those different ones for every little, like sci-fi or YA or horror
romance
or was it LGBTQT alphabet soup ones and and
historical
fiction. They're all
also nonfictions too. We don't want to forget those guys.
Yeah, and the nonfiction, yes. And so where was I here? But yeah, meetup.com is a good one. Also, you can search Facebook for book clubs in your area.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You can do that. And the other thing you can do, which if there aren't any, you can have your own pop-up book club meeting as an author.
There you go. Now, how would you do that?
You would put it up on your Facebook page probably, and your website and Twitter and wherever else. And
of course you would list that this book has been reviewed and here's a nice review and it may have won an award, and you want to put your credentials out there.
Yeah, and then of course the cover.
The brilliant cover, yes.
The brilliant cover. But so you would do that, and then you can use hashtags.
Oh.
To put to narrow it down to a location, like we would do hashtag Bellingham book lovers or Bellingham reads or something like that to narrow it down. So if you were from Huntsville, Alabama, you would use that hashtag there.
Oh, I see.
So to help, so it's not people expecting to come down from New York to our.
No, but I guess if you wanted to do an online book club, you could just do the genre, right?
Yeah.
And say this is going to be, and you probably don't want everybody in the world into it, but maybe, what book clubs are generally 10 people or so, 12.
Well, once again, Jackie Rogers, another great Western writer,
amazing.
And Ann Charles, they do Facebook events. And people chime in and they comment online and they have virtual margaritas.
Watch out for Jackie's margaritas.
That's for sure.
Yeah. All right.
And so, yeah.
Or start your own. Yeah.
And then the main thing, book clubs need to know that you are available.
Right.
If you don't have it on your website to announce that you would love to come, and if it's local or Skype,
right,
and learn how to Skype. Have your list of questions for book clubs or topics that makes you like someone will read like, well, that sounds like an interesting discussion, because that's what book clubs do. They like to discuss. So make sure that it is everywhere that you like doing this, and on your sell sheets, on your press releases, on your website, once again, everywhere. You need to let people know
That's
that
part of
you
it.
are available.
Now here we are with online book clubs again. Oh, wait a minute. There's Chanticleer on there.
Yeah.
That's right. We love book clubs, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. And so, and yeah, check out, because right now it would be too hard to put links up here, but
Yeah.
We do have that.
We have all kinds of stuff. All kinds of good things for authors.
So where was our We Love Book Clubs?
Oh, that was up 2 slides up.
Up there.
Yep, there it is.
Yay! We do.
We do. Okay.
And on that note, that's our 6 Bs.
That's our 6 Bs.
And
they went by so quickly.
Yes, and here's just a montage. You can see some other Chanticleerians. Like I said, we are West Coast, so we're very entertainment oriented out here also. And that has been the 6 Bs of successful indie publishing.
I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. Please leave your comments. Can they comment?
Yeah, I guess. And, or,
Or
send us an email. Once again, visit Shanty Reviews. We have all these articles up there for free.
Yep.
You can just log on and at shantyreviews.com, and there's even more than that, because we've been doing this for quite a while. So
this is just a tidbit of what you'll find there. All kinds of things happening at the Roost.
And our main thing is we try to unlock the secrets of successful publishing. And as everyone, if you are an indie author or self-published author, there's so much to learn, always. And it's always changing.
It can always be overwhelming too, but we are firm believers in assisting authors with the latest techniques and the latest technologies that are on the market now.
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
And we are here. So, and say hey to us. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.